It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the session on integrating policies and technologies for the water-related SDGs implementations. It is my honor to moderate at this session. My name is Youngmin Choi, the Associate Research and Policy Development Expert of UN Office for SD, Sustainable Development, located in Incheon and South Korea. Let me introduce briefly about the UNOSD. The UNOSD was established under the Division of Sustainable Development, UNDESA, and our mandate is to facilitate the implementation of Sustainable Development Agenda of the United Nations through knowledge exchange, research, capacity building, and enhanced partnerships. We aim to serve as a platform to promote strategies that activate and accelerate sustainability in cooperation with decision makers across the public, private, and civil sectors. I would like to welcome all of you for this important event. For this today's session, we are happy to have the prominent scholars and practitioners who can really bring the diverse expertise in water policy technology. With the adoption of 17 Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, but we are still very short of reaching the 2030 agenda, I think. Furthermore, in the 2019, COVID-19 outbreak all around the world. Pandemic revealed enormous inequalities in access to clean water, sanitation, energy, and key technologies. I think working to guarantee universal access to these services must be an integral part of the global recovery. The goal 6 ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all is now standalone goal. It clearly emphasizes the importance of water for life, water for peace, and water for dignity. I believe we could have a meaningful time with experts from various fields. Okay, it's time to start it. Firstly, I'd like to invite Professor Seokhan Jang on behalf of the President of Korea Society of Smart Water Grid. Thank you for Professor Chang. Please join me to invite him to the stage with a big applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. As you might know, this morning became very chilly, and in some area in Korea, it snowed the first in this fall, and which stands for the entering the winter seasons. And it is generally well known. The date of the first snow is lucky and lovely for the youngsters. And today is the that day. Okay, well, Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Seokhan Jang, the Vice President of the Korean Society of Smart Water Grid, and honored to have this keynote speech instead of Gail Choi, the President of the Smart Water Grid in Korea. First of all, on behalf of the Korean Society of Korean Smart Water Grid, I would like to welcome all the participants to open this session, the Sustainable Development 6 implementations. Smart water grid technology, which is the collaborative technology between traditional water management and ICT, is widely being adopted in the real water management area since the concept adopted in this real water management area, since the concept was recently initiated through the several processes, including the 7th World Water Forum. The concept is well adopted to cope with water shortage through the scientific implementation the demand control and effective distribution in the area of water resources management. Also, the successful application of this concept is now indicated in this area of the construction and operation of the water supply facilities, especially the improvement of water quality and optimization of water infrastructure through the monitoring water quantity and quality in the underground pipeline system, including water treatment trend, is responsible for the strong improvement of this direct drinking rate from tagged public water supply systems. This reliability between suppliers and the customers linked with the public water supply system can be drastically increased through applying this technology. On behalf of the Society of the Smart Water Grid, we fully understand how important this SDG6 project. So, this session and the Smart Water Grid International Conference could give the chance the comprehensive discussion to share the vision as well as to find the solutions with more scientific and a faster way. In addition, I hope this session to remind many expert members in this Society of the Smart Water Grids to implement sustainable development goals. It is also expected that our society can play an important role for the successful implementation of the SDG6 projects. Let's enjoy great time for the sharings and the innovations. Once again, I really appreciate the ladies and gentlemen for the attending of this great session, integrating water policies and the technologies of SDG6 implementations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor John, for your excellent speech. Now, we have a more clear understanding of today's topic in the setting of the global SDGs, I think. As you emphasizes, it's time to actually implement the SDGs in the field of water and sanitation. Next, I think we could move on to the presentations. There are 4 presentations for each 15 minutes. I would like to invite the first presenter, Dr. Manjur Kadir, the Assistant Director of UN University Institute for Water, Environment and Health. He is an environmental scientist with over 30 years experience in the field of policy, institutional and biophysical aspects of water recycling and the safe reuse, water quality and environmental health, and so on. He will present on the projects about the water in the world we want, creating evidence-based policy and practice for water-related SDG success. Dr. Manjur, are you ready?
Yeah, thank you very much, Yongan, for your kind introduction. Appreciate. Yeah, I was just looking at the timing. Most of the world is already on 10th of November, but while we in Canada are still 9th November. So that's how, due to this pandemic or other opportunities, we are working. Thank you so much for the kind invitation. I'd like actually to start my presentation and right. Okay, so today I'll talk about the waters in the world we want, and particularly looking at what type of policies and practices are essentially needed in order to achieve water-related sustainable development by the year 2030. And before I dive deep into what could be done, I'll just like to share with you where are we at? What type of water world we have at the moment? There is water available across the world, but the key challenge is that water resources and population density are unevenly distributed. If you look at the right-hand side of this slide, there are two contrasting photographs. One on the extreme side shows those countries where the annual renewable water resources are even less than 500 cubic meters per capita. There are several countries in the heart of Middle East and North Africa region where the water resources are so low. In some countries, they are even less than 100 cubic meter. While on the other hand, there are countries on this planet where the annual renewable water resources are more than 20,000 cubic meters per capita. And the country from where I'm speaking, Canada, we do have more than 20,000 cubic meter per capita. So there is a big contrast. And because of this contrast and because of the population increase, it's expected that more than 2/3 of the global population will face water scarcity by the year 2030. And on top of that, there is another complexity in addition to water scarcity, which is water quality deterioration. And that is particularly happening in water scarce areas. And besides, a key challenge, as we are seeing more and more through COP26, climate change is leading to uncertainty in rainfall and resulting in extended periods of drought. And that is also particularly happening in the dry areas. So this is the type of water world we have. And while this is where we are and what we need to achieve, what type of water world we want, where water sits in the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. It's good to see that there is a dedicated goal, SDG 6, which ensures availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all by the year 2030. But water doesn't stop here. There are other SDGs with very specific water-related targets. For achievement of those SDGs, ensuring those targets which relate to water, or in other words, water-related sustainable development is essential for the achievement of those very specific SDGs. Where we are at with regard to SDG 6, you know that the United Nations undertook a comprehensive assessment of SDG 6 in the year 28, and that clearly suggested that the world at large is far behind in achieving SDG 6. And the key reason is that even less than half of the UN member states have comparable data, which can really show where the countries are actually. In some countries, the relevant data is even not available. That could showcase the status of the progress of achievement of SDG 6. And the report also suggested that the business as usual, if we continue the way we continue in this SDG era, will be the SDG 6 achievement will be greatly missed. And it's not only SDG 6, as I already mentioned. This will be impacting other water-related targets embedded in other relevant SDGs. So where we are at, we have already into the decade of action, and where we need to develop interventions that even work in that data-limited conditions, as still half of the countries are still struggling to collect, synthesize and present relevant data and to really assess where they are. And there is also a need to strengthen and realign the enabling environments, particularly how we can achieve SDG 6. And here SDG 6A and B and SDG 17 have key importance. And there is also a need of a collaboration platform, which is by and large missing, or we are struggling actually to have, where the countries could collaborate together in order to find SDG 6 as a common goal of achievement. So looking at those aspects, a team of researchers, professionals consisting of several institutions, including UN, INWE, UNOSD, CAECO, and Ministry of Environment, in partnership with national partners from Pakistan, Tunisia, Ghana, Costa Rica, and Korea. We developed a tool which is called SDG PSS, or in other words, Sustainable Development Goal 6 Policy Support System, which basically works under data limited conditions. And there are 6 policy critical components of SDG 6, consisting of capacity assessment, finance assessment, policy and institutional aspects, gender mainstreamings, disaster risk reduction and resilience, and integrity. And in addition to that, there is a component which is called status, which relates with data. It's basically an online system, which is available in 4 languages: English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. But we are also doing work to transform this tool and be available in Korean and Arabic languages. And that is expected to be done in the next 3 months or so. So the key feature of SDG PSS is that it does work at the indicator level. So it does address all the 9 indicators embedded in SDG 6. So what is the workflow, or how does it work? It has a main page, and then if you further actually go through that, and before even you start, there is a 2-minute video that helps you understand what type of features this tool has, what type of data needed, and what would be the end product of this tool. So for every component, there are very specific questions, and those are available online. If you answer whatever the number of questions are, you answer or leave, in the end, a graph appears, automatically system-generated graph. So that happens at the indicator level. And in the end, by accumulating data from all indicators, a final page appears. It is called the reporting page, and and this is just one page, which can be presented to a policymaker. And that policymaker can see where are the red blocks or the black boxes or the light or dark green colors, because these 4 colors are giving very specific messages. A dark green color provides information that there is an adequate progress the country is making in achieving that very specific indicator or target. Light green color suggests that there is work in progress, but that needs to be geared up in order to achieve SDG 6. The red box is really alarming, indicating there is absolutely no or inadequate progress. And if there is a box like black color coding, that shows that there is no data. So if a policymaker will look into that, will understand, okay, where are those areas where we need to collect data, because we don't have even data to demonstrate where we are with regard to the achievement of that specific SDG 6 target. Or where are the red boxes where we need to put all the effort in order to gear up? Where are the light green boxes? It means we are making progress, but we need to really gear up like that. So this one pager is very helpful for a policymaker to make immediate decisions towards very specific steps in order to achieve SDG 6. In order to facilitate its use, we do offer a 90-minute course, which is available online. And I have provided the web link to that course. And it basically provides information and training to the potential users on how to use the tool. The users can learn how to navigate through different pages and its components. And upon the successful completion, the participants receive a system-generated certificate of completion. The tool has been already showcased in more than 15 news media, print and electronic, and in different forms. And it has been appreciated as a tool which helps policymakers in assessing the status of SDG 6 in their respective countries, while at the same time, it does help those policymakers in order to take the steps towards the achievement of specific indicators and targets. So just to sum up, this is a tool which gives the idea of where the missing data, or if the data is available, then the tool helps understand the status of progress at the indicator level. It does provide a platform of collaboration across research community and policymakers. It has the potential to become a powerful knowledge sharing platform for learning between the countries. I'm pleased to report that as it stands now, 34 countries are at different stages of using this tool. The tool is available in different languages. That also helps countries in using this tool. And in addition to that, this type of tool has now developed a framework which could be used in order to develop similar type of tool for other SDGs. So that's here I'd like actually to end, and I'll be happy to take questions whenever there is a possibility. And if you come across with a later thought, or you start using this tool, and if you have a specific question, please get back to me at my email address, and I'll be very happy to follow up on that. Thank you so much for your kind attention. I'll stop here. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Manzoor. It was an excellent presentation about the SDG assets. This framework for the water SDGs will certainly contribute to effective implementation of water goals, I think. Participating countries can understand the more clearly on the current status and gaps to fill in terms of policy and finance governance through the SDG assets. Next is Ms. Dahe Park, who is Senior Program Specialist of UNESCO International Center for Water Security and Sustainable Management. She has been expanding her expertise in water-related fields, working with UNESCO IWSSM. She will present on UNESCO's contribution to SDG 6 implementation.
Thank you very much. This is Dahe Park from the UNESCO Center for Water Security and Sustainable Management. First of all, thank you very much for having me here, and it's such a pleasure to meet you guys, especially the young Trey and Manzoor and the Kay Echo as well. Today I'm going to share a brief introductions of the UNESCO and the IHP and its strategies to contribute to UN Sustainable Development Goals and the very practical implementations at the level of the category centers. The SDGs already, the Manzoor and Mrs. Trey already stated a little bit before. SDG addresses several aspects of the challenges we face for now, and these are the principles of that run through the 2030 agenda, such as inclusivity, inequalities, SDI, and multi-stakeholder partnerships. So, considering the UN Sustainable Development Goals, UNESCO set the two global priorities that need to be considered throughout every step of the international development projects and assistance initiatives. First one is a gender in regard of the SDG 5 to promote women's participation in the decision-making process and to secure access to the basic needs such as medical care, education, water and sanitation, and social protections, and etc. Second one is the Africa. UNESCO particularly targeting the African continent for structured economic transformations, SDI, peace, of course, and environmental sustainability. So furthermore, UNESCO is directly contributing to the 12 different sustainable development goals with its expertise in the field of science, education, and cultural and network. Particularly, we can see that there's a SDG 6, water and sanitation. The UNESCO water family promotes great efforts to improve water security through water research, water resources management, education, and capacity building and monitoring. Of course, SDG 6 is being centered among the other SDG goals and very closely interconnected with them. For instance, for the human settlement, sustainable city and the communities, as well as water and sanitation, need to be considered at the same time, as well as gender equality also. So UNESCO has launched 15 initiatives for the water sector, along with its traditional program IHP, the Intergovernmental Hydrological Programs. These are the examples of the UNESCO's water-related initiatives. So you can see the drought initiatives, flood, and also there's a health. Particularly this initiative attached to integrating the science and the policy and bridging the gap between the knowledge and the implementation. So UNESCO keep emphasizing on the water security. So it defines water security as the capacity of the population to safeguard access to adequate amount of water and acceptable quality of the water, and it needs to be affordable for sustaining humans' life and well-being and healthy ecosystem. So the ultimate goal of the IHP is the populations worldwide and all levels reach water security as defined above. So now I will introduce the IHP very briefly and its governance structure and the uniqueness. It has 169 members so far, and it is the only one intergovernmental program in the natural sciences sector of UNESCO. So basically 70% of the members are the decision makers, such as governmental or water resources managers or administrators. This unique governance structure allows us the transparency, high efficiency, and effectiveness in terms of implementations of the programs and initiatives. Besides the national commissions and secretariat of the headquarters, there are 50 chairs composed with water experts all over the world in universities, and 37 category centers to actually implement the strategies in the practical way. So IHP announces its 8-year term strategies since its establishment in 1965. And as you can see, they're shifting to a holistic and integrated approaches. For now, we are in the middle of the IHP 8 phase, the water security, and we are developing 9 phases of the IHP strategy. So 9 phases of IHP strategy is highly important to achieve sustainable development goals, considering its time sets from 2022, the next year, to 2029. So I will share the draft of the IHP 9 phases a little bit more. These are the keywords when we drafting the IHP 9 phase at the first place, which all the experts from all over the world. And these keywords such as education, BRR, and policy governance, these factors they were reflected on the draft, zero draft of ISP 9. So ISP 9 piece focusing on the water security is the same as an 8 piece, but acknowledging and considering the climate change and the global change such as pandemic situations. So there are too many specific targets here, as you can see. So I won't explain and go through every detail of these specific targets. So the first one is, there are 5 different priority areas. The first one is scientific research and innovation. So this target is like assistant to the member states that have the knowledge, sound scientific and research capacity, and improve the technologies and the management skills to secure water resources for human development, as well as health ecosystems within a sustainable development context. And the priority second is water education in the fourth industrial revolution, including sustainability. So this ultimate goal is worldwide citizens will be trained in have their awareness on the water-related challenges and opportunities based on sound scientific and research information to facilitate sustainable water management and governance. And as you can see, the 2.5 or 6 is there. We are keep emphasizing the importance of integrating water policy and technology at the same time in science-based decision-making process. And the third one is bridging the data and knowledge gap. It promotes the significant advances in transparency, comparability, and accessibility of water data, which makes it possible for the development of open access science platforms and generating the facilitating instruments for integrated water management. And the fourth one is to adopt or mitigate water risk among climate change and human factors, including the global pandemic. And the final one is water governance, to enable us to use science-based tools, capacity, and knowledge addressing adaptation and mitigation to climate change to significantly reduce water governance gaps. So how we can implement these strategies in a practical way? This is the role of the category 2 centers under the auspices of UNESCO. There are 37 category 2 centers all over the world. They are all expertise and they're specifically focusing on their field. And we are implementing the actual projects to achieve the IoT strategies at the international, regional, and the local level. For instance, including knowledge and innovations, strengthening science policy interface, and developing institutional and human capacities. So, for instance, I will bring some examples as from our centers, the International Center for Water Security and Sustainable Management. We're established in 2017 to contribute to develop water security strategies worldwide for equal and safe access to water. And its main function is divided into 3 different sectors: research, capacity building, and global platform networking. So for instance, for the integrated problem-solving research, there are several examples like to disseminate knowledge and trends in terms of the water security sector. We are co-publishing with UNESCO headquarters and the IoT Secretariat the global water security issues here. It addresses several trends in the water security issues, such as water reuse within a circular economy context, or the role of the sound groundwater resources management in the governance to achieve the water security. And also to systemize the educational programs with the science-based approach. We're developing e-models for the educational programs. And sometimes it addresses a general aspect of the educational programs, or sometimes It addresses the tailor-made e-models based on the different needs of each target countries. For instance, for this year, we've done the development of smart water management, water security and system resilience, integrated water resources management, as well as groundwater management. Also, we are publishing the World Water Development Report, the executive summary in Korean under the cooperation with WWAP of UNESCO. And as well as we are doing the joint research on the water, energy, environment, and access for urban water systems. So it aims to achieve an optimal water loss management strategy by applying a system dynamics models to build a water, energy, environment, and access model for urban water systems and analyze the consumption of the resources and the transfer between the water, energy, and the environment sectors. Also, we are developing a new initiatives of the UNESCO under the cooperation with UNESCO partners. UNESCO Urban Water Management Initiatives under the ISP 9 strategy. So we are expecting that it gives more wider opportunities in emerging cities in developing countries and adopting integrated development in the rural human settlement as well. And for the capacity building sectors, of course, because of the pandemic situations, we've developed various online materials by different themes like the nature-based solutions, smart water management systems, water loss management, and water loss systems of quality management, drought monitoring systems, and etc. So it gives kind of a standard materials to implement capacity buildings, and it will help the quality management of each educational programs. And also, we hosted the webinar on the smart water management in Central Asia, invited all the government officials, high officials from Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And we specifically are targeting their needs, such as smart metering, data collection and analysis, like ICT technologies, and the sewage management and the water quality management, etc. And also, under the cooperation with the various international organizations and the UNESCO headquarters, we are consulting the ISU project on Kenya's groundwater monitoring systems based on our expertise, and the Timor-Leste groundwater management projects and capacity building programs. Also, particularly, we are focusing on the water and the gender call for action under the cooperation with World Water Assessment programs. And also, we hosted a webinar and sessions during the Stockholm International Water Week. I do remember the venue in when already participating in these sessions. Thank you. So, sorry. So, this is our first time to participate in the Sustainable Development Goal 6, the Policy Support System, the PSS. And when we consider about the its characteristics and the uniqueness of the PSS systems, such as integrating water policies and the technologies to contribute to the SDG 6, that will be a very effective and a powerful tool, and it will allow developing countries where they're most vulnerable in points and needs to achieve water security. And this also, this awareness will allow us to implement the project very efficiently and effectively. So participating the third phase of SDG 6 PSS is a great opportunity for our center and UNESCO to directly contribute to the SDG 6. And it's a specific target, and to utilize our expertise and experiences and expand our target areas. So thank you very much. This is the end of my presentations. If you have any comments or questions, please use the Q&A time and at the end of the session, I presume. Or you can just send me your any queries via my email here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Park. It was a comprehensive presentation that gives an opportunity to know about the UNESCO IWSSN and Global Institute's efforts on the SDGs. There was the opportunity to know, such as the IHP project or the field-oriented education and the training. And I really welcome to be our new partner of the SGPSS. Next presenter is Mr. Young-Do Yeo, who is working with the KACO for more than 10 years in various positions in the water sector. He will present on the Korea's status of SDG 6 and the use of the SGPSS in Korea.
Hello, I'm Young-Do Yeo from Korea Environment Corporation. I'm going to represent the status of SDG 6 and the use of SDG PSS in Korea. The project started in September 2016, and third phase of this project, which started in July 2021. Let me tell you about the result second phase in Korea. First, I'm going to explain about Korea briefly. South Korea is a small country located in the east of Asia. We have 4 distinct seasons, and the average precipitation is the world average, but more concentrated precipitation in summer has usually caused severe drought in other seasons. Due to global warming, Korea is undergoing a variety of changes as it is becoming more subtropical, such as spring and autumn getting shorter, and the increase of guerrilla rainstorms. At this point, I think achieving SDG 6 is a very important issue. However, achieving SDG 6 at the national level is not only very complex, but also requires a lot of effort and collaboration among the country's experts and related stakeholders. As one of the pilot countries in the first phase of the project, we have strived to generate data on SDG 6 indicators and checked capabilities to implement the goals. So I would like to share the result of Korea's SDG PSS. First of all, I'm going to show you the result of status. In the first page of the project, we worked very hard to find the status through collaboration with relevant experts, and we were able to find about 40% of the answers. And we have now created separate groups of relevant experts to find the remaining 60% of the answers. But unfortunately, we haven't yet have a national statistics system which provides data suitable for SDG 6 implementation. So in order to overcome this problem, we need to create or reconstruct a lot of data, which has not been attempted. Therefore, it's going to take a little more time to organize more accurate and complete data. And the following chart, as you see on your screen, is the result of result of confidence evaluation for the 6 core components. In the summary view picture of the SDG PSS, if the color of each cell is green or light blue, it represents positive progress. If the color is red or black, it represents a lack of progress. First of all, we can see indicate 611. As you can see from this chart, most of the cells are filled in green, except for public awareness and governance, which means all components are in relatively positive progress. Next, let's find out about 621. At the moment, almost all public facilities in Korea are equipped with safe sanitation facilities. However, as you see on your screen, we need to improve the gender and policy categories. Next, we can check 631, 632. The Korean distribution rate of sewage is 93.9%, and most of the wastewater is safely treated. So, although most of the water body maintain relatively good water quality, as you can see, it has been confirmed that some parts are still insufficient. Next, we find out about 641, 642. The Korea water supply rate reaches 98%, so almost no one suffers a shortage of water. So at this point, it is not an exaggeration to say that there is no need to worry about water resources and water supply. But now, in the midst of rapid climate change, we cannot guarantee what would happen by 2030 and even after then. Now we look at 651, degree of integrated water resources management implementation. In Korea, integrated resources water management led by the Ministry of Environmental has begun since the end of 2018. Although we are in the early stage of integrated water resources management, we expect to achieve efficient integrated water resource management by complementing policies and capabilities time goes by. Next, we can see 652 proportion of transboundary basin area with an operation arrangement for water cooperation. As you all know, the only country which borders South Korea is North Korea. So same as in the first page, we decided that this category is not applicable. Next, we can check 661. We can all assume that we don't have enough information about some categories. So far, we've looked at 611 through 661. As you can see from this chart, most of cells are filled in green, but we still don't have enough information about policy and gender. In order to implement SDG 6 in Korea, especially these two areas will need to be supplemented and improved. Oh, sorry. Korea has nearly 100 of water and sewage infrastructure, public facility with guarantees sanitation and safety, and the monitoring system for water quality and quantity management, and the national statistics on such data. Despite all that, we clearly realized what direction we should take for sustainable water management, which is our goal. Of course, we also figure out that a gap between items of Korea statistics and data that the SDG records remains a big challenge. During the second phase of the project, we have also launched the Korean version of SDG PSS to increase the utilization of SDG PSS by Korean experts. And we hope more experts in related area in Korea can utilize this program easily in the future. So through this program, we are going to strive to share the status of SDGs implementation in Korea with the international community in more detail. I sincerely appreciate your attention today. I have to leave my seat because of another meeting. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you until the end. If you have any question, feel free to email. Thank you.
Hi, Youngan, we can't hear you. I think you are muted.
I will check the audio. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. The next presenter is Dr. Jung Hoon Shin, senior of R&D team at the Taeyong ENC. He will present on the latest technologies and updates about the water-related fields. Dr. Shin, please start your presentation when you're ready.
Thank you. I will start my presentation from now. This is Dr. Jung Hoon Shin from Taeyong ENC R&D team. I'm announcing advanced wastewater treatment process to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 6. In order of presentation, let me introduce Taeyong ENC and SDG 6 related business result. Next, I will talk about the advanced wastewater treatment technology that is being developed by Taeyong ENC related to SDG 6. Taeyong ENC was founded in 1973, and the sales by 2020 were 3.6 billion US dollars with about 1,500 employees. It mainly conducts environmental, civil, buildings, and plant work in public, private, and overseas. First, let me introduce our overseas business. This business is Vietnam water supply project. As an EDCF project, the contract amount was $26 billion. The project period was about 4 years, and the drinking water facility was built. EDCF was established by the government of Korea on 1987 with the purpose of promoting economic cooperation between Korea and developing countries. This business is Bangladeshi water treatment plant and pump station project. As a World Bank project, the contract amount was $50 million. The project's period was about 5 years, and the drinking water treatment plant, pump station were built. This business is Bangladesh water supply project. As the EDCF project, the contract amount was $140 million. The project period was about 4 years, and the drinking water treatment plant, water pipeline, pump station were under construction. Next, let me introduce the domestic project. Taeyong ENC is one of the companies that built the most water treatment plant and wastewater treatment plant project in Korea. These projects are Gangbuk, Ilsan, and Yeongdeungpo drinking water treatment plants located on the Han River basin in Korea. These water treatment plants supply water to citizens living in Seoul and Gyeonggi-dong. Especially in 1999, Gangbuk plant was the largest plant in Asia. In addition, several water treatment plants were built, including Incheon, Seongnam, and Changwon. Seonam, Suwon, and Jangnim sewage treatment plants were built on the very large scale in Korea. From now, I will introduce Taeyong ENC's technology for water treatment. I would like to introduce the AGS SBL process developed by Taeyong ENC. Aerobic granule sludge is granular sludge of 0.2 millimeter or more formed under aerobic conditions. All conversions are occurring in different layers within the granular biomass located in one reactor compartment with alternating anaerobic and aerobic period in a sequencing batch mode. There will be separation of bacteria as a function of depth within the granules. Nitrifiers will be located in the oxidant penetrate our outer layers. Denitrifiers are located in the inner annex layers. AGS has the following characteristics. The separation will occur over the settled sludge bed with higher substrate concentration during anaerobic feeding in the bottom of the reactor. Outer bacterial layers are subjected to more shear stress, high biomass retention, select for slow glowing organism like nitrifier. Therefore, AGS has excellent settling, high density, strong structure, and low excess sludge production. Because of these things, the use of AGS microorganism instead of activated sludge enable compact reactor design, simplified and small separation unit, significant land and cost savings. In this video, the settling of AGS and activated sludge was compared. This is AGS. This is activated sludge. As you can see, AGS go down very fast. AGS project was installed in the 3 AGS SPR process test bed and verified. The test was conducted on the pilot scale in 2 places for about 8 years and in 1 place at a full scale 4 years. As a result, when treating the same amount of sewage, the bioreactor volume was about 60% smaller than that of conventional SVR using activated sludge as a microorganism. Therefore, the site area was minimized by using the AGS SVR process. Through AGS SVR research, we received 2 environmental new technologies, 7 patents, and 3 copyrights. In addition, there are 2 commercialization applied to the Chombo Golf Course sewage treatment plant and Incheon Mansu sewage treatment plant expansion as a treatment process. The ProMBR is an MBR process that maximizes the removal of biological nitrogen and phosphorus through the semi-batch type anaerobic tank operation and 2-stage denitrification composition. In addition, the coagulant using is minimized through the real-time coagulation control system. ProMBR has the following characteristics. First, reduced phosphorus load through the 1st stage coagulant injection. Second, maximize the biological phosphorus removal through semi-batch anaerobic and aerobic tank. Third, after removal of biological phosphorus, if necessary, injection of a 2nd stage coagulant. Last, removal of insolubilization phosphorus through complete solid liquid separation through membrane separation. It was installed in ProMBR process test bed and verified. The test was conducted on the pilot scale for about 2 years with K-Water and Hanwha ENC. Sorry. Through ProMBR process, we received 2 environmental new technology, several patents and copyrights. In addition, there are 3 commercialization applied to the Cheonan and the Daejeon sewage treatment plant and the Gimhae industry complex sewage treatment plant as a treatment process. Next, I will talk about research on sewage use conducted by Taeyong ENC. Wastewater reuse research use discharged water from sewage treatment plants as inflow water and goes through coagulation, membrane filtration, and disinfection. The produced water is used as industrial or agricultural water. To verify the wastewater reuse process, a test bed was inserted in Suwon sewage treatment plant, and it is currently in operation. The production amount is 100 cubic meter per day and will be tested for about 3 years. Suwon City and Taeyong ENC signed the MOUs in December 2019 to promote the wastewater reuse project. It is planning to build the world's largest sewage reuse plant. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shin. That was a very comprehensive presentation on current innovation technologies on the wastewater treatment and water energy recovery, and the overseas project as well. Especially, it was interesting topic about the SGS, I think. I think we listened an excellent presentations on. I believe we had the opportunity to hear the most updated information and knowledge from them. And I would like to thank all the presenters for their contributions. Due to the time limit, I would like to wrap up the session by sharing all the speakers' final comments about the participating in the session. Today, since the scheduled meeting, since the scheduled meeting, the Mr. Yao was not able to attend this time. So let's share our ideas or comments about the sessions starting from the Dr. Shin. Maybe I think he is ready. And Dr. Shin, and then Ms. Park, and lastly, Dr. Manjur can share the comments.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my deepest honor to be invited to this important event today on integrating water policy and technologies for SDG 6. Implementation with the distinguished guest speakers and audience. I'm sure that today's presentation and remarks from the United Nations, academia, government entity, and the private sector have enriched our session to be more interactive and productive. I hope today's session will serve as an important reminder for all of us to accelerate to the implementation of sustainable water management, and will encourage active engagement of stakeholders, experts, and expertise. The vision of my company, Taeyong, is not only the industry of our business area, specifically construction, water industry, and leisure, but also to contribute to establishing a sustainable, inclusive, and resilient society. We will continue to do our part of development and share the cutting-edge technology on the water-related field to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much for organizing this wonderful meeting. Today, I was really enjoyed all the speakers and speeches, and it's really good to know every other part of, especially the private sectors, and Dr. Manjur's great presentations on the SDG PSS systems. I think the PSS system can be a very powerful tool in line with we're considering and sharing the similarities with UNESCO's and IHG strategies that integrating water knowledge and policy and the science-based or evidence-based making process decision-making process. So I'm expecting that we can make a synergy effect to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 6. And when we consider about the IHP's unique governing structures, such as the PSS system is specifically targeting the decision makers of each nations, and the IHP members are composed with the decision makers of 169 member states. So I'm very looking forward to working with you on to promote the use of these PSS systems as there's a pace. And it was a very enjoyable and fruitful meeting for today. Thank you very much.
Next, lastly, Dr. Maju.
Yeah, thank you, Young. I'll not repeat what I already said with regard to data scarcity and in some cases data overlap or even data discrepancy. Even at the national level, it's really something which is essentially needed in order to see the status of the achievement of SDG 6 and its indicators and targets. But based on our experience of working with the 34 countries, we see that the challenge of achieving SDG 6 does go beyond data. And there are issues like policy and institutional challenges. Even those countries which are water scarce and where there is a potential of water augmentation with some specific unconventional water resources such as treated wastewater or cloud seeding, rainfall enhancement, or fog water collection. So these aspects, which are crucially important, relevant to a specific country, they are either absent or they are not prioritized in the national level policies. In addition to that, the institutions are very weak and there are overlapping responsibilities, and sometimes they just try actually to do similar type of work. Multiple institutions are doing the same type of work at the national level. So that actually dilutes the efforts in terms of achieving SDG 6. In addition to that, when we look at the water technologies and particularly looking at some of the emerging water resources augmentation opportunities, there is really a critical shortage of skilled human resources, which needs to be addressed by the policymakers. So there is a need to train the water professionals, not only just for water resources management, but those very specific technologies. And that's where a close collaboration with the private sector entities who are very relevant and who are engaged in water sector is important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mansoor. I plan to wrap up the session, but I can see someone turn on the camera. So I think Mr. Shafiq. I think if you have a comment or want to share your idea, I think 1 or 2 minutes. I think it is okay. No? Okay. Dear participants, if you have any questions about today's session, please contact the speakers or me via email. We are welcome all your questions. And I'm sorry about the inconvenience what I caused about the audio problem, and I appreciate that your understanding. I think this session provided a precious opportunity to share our views from the public, international, and private sectors all together. The lessons learned we learned today, I think it will contribute a lot in the implementation of the SDG 6 in future, and hope you have an opportunity to arouse your interest in the water-related fields and broaden your views toward the SDG implementation as well. Finally, I would like to thank all of you for being here and wish you a pleasant stay in health. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.